Hi everyone, welcome back. In all our previous lectures, we had discussed regarding kinematics of particles, say a single particle. But we may also have situations where we have multiple particles, say a system of particles. Now, in some cases, the motion of a system of particles can be interrelated because of the constraints that may be imposed. Say, for example, they may be connected by certain members or certain forces may act in between them. So, here are some of the examples of constrained motion for a system of particles. In all these cases, it is necessary to account for these constraints in order to determine the respective motion of the particles. Let us consider an example to get a better understanding. There are two blocks A and B connected by an inextensible rope that passes over a fixed peg at point C as shown in this figure. In order to analyze the motion, we first establish a fixed point or datum from which we can measure the position coordinates conveniently. Here I consider two datums, one at the peg and another along the horizontal of block A, from which I can measure the position coordinates xa and yb. If you look closely, you can see that the value of h remains constant. The first terminology we shall discuss when dealing with kinematics of constrained motion is kinematic constraint. Now, a kinematic constraints are constraints between the particles in a system. They may be due to any rigid or flexible members, or say sometimes even forces that are connected in between these particles or bodies. Examples include cases of inextensible strings or rigid rods, etc. In this case here, the total length of the rope does not change, which is a kinematic constraint. The equation of constraint can be given as L equals root of xa square plus h square plus yb, which is a constant. Since the length of the rope is constant, L equals root of xa square plus h square plus yb, which is a constant, as you can see in this figure. You can also see that both xa and yb are dependent on each other. So I can choose any one of them to be a kinematically independent coordinate. Now, the relationship between the dependent and the independent coordinate can thus be established by the equation of constraint. In this case, L equals root of x square a xa square plus h square plus yb. Now, the number of kinematically independent coordinates that are required to describe the motion of a system of particles is called degrees of freedom. If you look at the figure closely, you can see that this corresponding system has single degree of freedom. What I have discussed here is some of the terms that come up when we discuss the corresponding motion of a system of particles. Say constraint motion, kinematic constraint, equation of constraint, kinematically independent coordinate, and degrees of freedom. Now, I write the equation here once again. L equals root of xa square plus h square plus yb. Now, if I take the derivative of this, L dot is equal to, if I take the derivative, I have half into 2 xa dot by root of xa square plus h square plus yb dot. This I can give as, now since the value of L is constant, L dot will be equal to 0. The derivative of L will be equal to 0. So this will be equal to xa, I can represent xa dot as Va divided by root of xa square plus h square plus Vb, where Yb dot will be equal to Vb. So here we can find the corresponding relationship between velocity of A and velocity of B. Now, if I take the derivative again, I can establish a kinematic constraint between the corresponding accelerations of A and acceleration of B. Consider another example of a pulley system as shown in this figure. Here I choose the datum along the center of the pulley at top for taking the position coordinate of body B. In addition, I have chosen another datum for the position coordinate of A. Whenever you choose multiple datum lines, please ensure that the distance between the datum is constant. Here the corresponding distance between the two datums is a constant value h. Looking closely, you can notice that the length of the chord also contained these red colored segments. These segments will be constant throughout the motion. Now, let the total length of the chord, avoiding these segments, be denoted by small l, which if you look closely, you can give it as 2 times yb plus h plus xa. Look at the figure once again. 2 times yb plus h plus xa, where h is a constant. So differentiating this, we would get L dot equals 2yb dot plus xa dot. Now, since the length of the chord is constant, 2yb dot plus xa dot will be equal to 0. If I replace yb dot and xa dot by Vb and Va, I will get this will give me 2Vb is equal to minus Va. If I differentiate it once again, I would get 2Ab equals minus Aa. Now remember one thing here, I am expressing all of these in terms of the scalars and not vectors. I am expressing all of these terms, whether it is acceleration, velocity, or the position, in terms of the scalars. Now, in both of these cases which we had discussed previously, there was only 1 degree of freedom, because as such the corresponding value of yb, coordinate yb and coordinate xa were interrelated. But Sometimes there may be cases where there are multiple degrees of freedom. These figures here shows you examples of motion of a system of particles where the degree of freedom is 2. On the case given in the left hand side, you can see that the peg itself is in motion, and hence there will be two independent coordinates to describe the motion, y of c and x of a. So this is the case of 2 degrees of freedom. On the right hand side, you can see a system of pulleys. If you observe closely, there are 2 chords here, which indicates that you can get 2 equations of constraint from this problem. Now let us solve a few problems here so that you can get a better understanding regarding kinematics of a system of particles, or more importantly, a kinematics of constrained motion. Your first question: the power winches on the industrial scaffold enable it to be raised or lowered. For the rotation in the senses indicated, the scaffold is being raised. If each drum has a diameter of 200 mm and turns at the rate of 40 revolutions per minute, determine the upward velocity v of the scaffold. If you look at the figure closely, you can see that there are 2 system of pulleys here, which is used to raise the corresponding scaffold or platform. Both these pulley systems are identical. Now, due to the rotation of the scaffold in the direction shown in the figure, the corresponding scaffold will raise. Our aim here is to find the velocity of the scaffold when this drum rotates at a rate of 40 revolutions per minute. Here I have shown the corresponding pulley system on the right hand side. Since both these pulley systems are mirror image of one another, analyzing one of these pulley systems is sufficient. Now I have here 3 pulleys, 1, 2, 3, and a motor that rotates with an angular velocity omega. Now this pulley 1 is fixed. This corresponding pulley 2 and 3 can move up and down depending upon the motion of the scaffold. Now I choose the datum along this fixed pulley system 1. So the corresponding values of corresponding position coordinates of the drum and pulley system 2 and 3 can be given as y1, y2 and y3 respectively. Now in the question it is given that The first equation L1, the first length of the chord, say it is L1 equals Y1, this corresponding length, plus 2 times Y2, and the rest of the portion, this corresponding length, this corresponding length, and this corresponding length are constant. So I can write a constant here, C. The second equation of constraint L2, where L2 is the length of this chord here. Now L2 is equal to this Y3 plus this corresponding length. Y3 plus. Now this corresponding length I can give as Y3 minus Y2. And all other lengths, this length as well as this length, can be treated as a constant. So say this is C1, say this is C2, or I can use the letter C, no problem, it's fine. So these are the two equations of constraint. So identifying the proper equation of constraint is very important in solving such type of problems, because once you get this part in error, then the entire procedure becomes false, wasted. Now, if I differentiate this corresponding equation, I will get L1 dot is equal to Y1 dot plus 2Y2 dot. If I differentiate the second equation, L2 dot is equal to Y3 plus Y3 will become 2Y3. So 2Y3 dot minus Y2 dot. Now let us understand what all of these L1 dot, Y1 dot, Y2 dot, etc. are. L1 dot is the rate of change of the length of this chord. Now if you see that this corresponding motor is undergoing an angular velocity omega, and hence the rope L1 will reduce in length. The rope L1 will reduce in length. So what is the value of L1 dot? It is the rate of change of length L1, which is actually decreasing here, which is decreasing. Now this L1 dot will be equal to the tangential velocity of this corresponding rotor. So this corresponding rotor has a radius r equals 100 mm and an angular velocity omega equals 4.19 radians per second. So L1 dot will be equal to r omega. Now since this corresponding value is decreasing, I would put a negative sign minus here. Now minus r, it is 100 mm or 0.1 meters, and omega, I think it is 4.19 radians per second. 4.19 radians per second. So this will be equal to minus 0.419 meter per second. Now the second is L2 dot. Now the length of chord L2 is constant. So as such, the rate of change of L2 or L2 dot will be equal to 0. Now the next one I will go is for Y3 dot. Now the rate of change of Y3 is actually equal to the velocity of this scaffold. The rate of change of y3 is actually equal to the velocity of this scaffold. Since this corresponding velocity is upwards, that is opposite to the corresponding value of y3, so y3 dot will be equal to minus v, where v is the velocity by which the scaffold moves up when this corresponding pulley system works. Now, the next corresponding top is point is y1 dot. That is y1 dot. As the corresponding value of y1 gets reduced, this corresponding platform will go up. So y1 dot will be equal to v in the opposite direction. So as such, y1 dot is also equal to minus v. Understanding these corresponding points is very important while solving such type of problems. So y3 dot, here y3 as such is fixed to the platform. So y3 dot will be equal to minus v, opposite to the direction. This gets reduced, so y3 dot will be equal to minus v. Similarly here, due to the rotation of this drum as such, y1 dot will be equal to the velocity of the platform. The velocity of not this one, but velocity of the platform here. So this is equal to minus v. Now, substituting these corresponding values in the equation, you would get, I write the two equations which we have derived right now, y1 dot plus 2y2 dot is equal to L1 dot, 2y3 dot minus y2 dot is equal to L2 dot. Now first I will look into this equation. So 2 into y3 dot is actually minus v, minus y2 dot, and L2 dot is 0. So as such, from this you will get y2 dot is equal to minus 2v. Now substituting this in the first equation, you would get y1 dot plus y1 dot is actually, or I'll write once again, y1 dot plus 2y2 dot is equal to L1 dot. y1 dot is minus v plus y2 dot, if I substitute from here, 2 into minus 2v is equal to L1 dot. L1 dot is equal to 0.419. So as such, if you substitute this value, you will get v minus 4v minus 5v. Minus 5v equals 0.419, or v equals 0.0838 meter per second, or which I can write it as 83.8 millimeter per second. So as such, the velocity of the scaffold by which it moves up is equal to 83.8 millimeter per second. Now going on to the next question. For the pulley system shown, each of the cables at A and B is given a velocity of 2 meter per second in the direction of the arrow. Determine the upward velocity v of the load m. Now I had drawn the figure here. If you see the system, you can see that there are two cords, one running like this, the other running like this. Okay, so you can get two equations of constraint. Now I had fixed here three datums. One datum here for measuring XA, the second one here for measuring XB, and one datum here for measuring the corresponding distances, position coordinates of pulleys 1 and 2. So from this datum, the corresponding position coordinate of this pulley 1, it is y1. The corresponding position coordinate of pulley 2, it is y2. Now, given VA equals 2 meter per second, VB equals 2 meter per second. These are the data that are given to you. Now, if you look at this figure closely, you can see that as these corresponding cords are pulled here towards left and here towards right, this system will rise up. Suppose V is the velocity of the mass, which we have to find out. Now, the equations of constraint here will be equal to the first for this chord first. We'll write for this chord first. So XA plus 2 times Y1 is equal to L1. XA plus 2 times Y1 is equal to L1. The remaining portion, this corresponding segment, this segment, all we can assume it to be a constant. If you want, you can write it. It doesn't make any difference. Plus C equals L1. Now, for second equation of constraint, you can see that XB plus Y2 plus this corresponding segment will be equal to Y2 minus Y1. Okay, so this will be Y2 minus Y1. So plus Y2 minus Y1 plus some constant, say C2. It doesn't matter if even if you don't write it, it doesn't make any difference, will be equal to L2. So these are the two equations of constraint for this problem. Now let us differentiate both. You will get XA dot plus 2Y1 dot is equal to L1 dot. XB dot plus Y2 dot plus Y2 dot minus Y1 dot is equal to L2 dot. Now if you see that this figure, you can see that both L1 dot and L2 dot are the corresponding length of the chord. These length of the chord as such does not change, and hence their corresponding derivative L1 dot and L2 dot will be equal to 0. Okay. Now Y2 dot will be equal to the corresponding velocity in the upward direction. Y2 dot will be equal to the corresponding velocity in the upward direction. So Y2 dot will be equal to minus V. And XA dot, that is already given to you, velocity VA, which is equal to 2 meter per second. Similarly, now this corresponding value, since it is increasing here, XA dot is increasing here and XB dot is increasing here, these corresponding value will remain positive. So substituting these corresponding equations here, we would get, I am rubbing it out, I hope you had written everything. Okay, substituting these 4 conditions in this equation, I would get, now substituting in the equations, first substituting the first equation, okay, XA dot, it is 2 meter per second plus 2 Y1 dot is equal to 0. So Y1 dot will be equal to minus 1 meter per second. Now substituting this value in the second equation, XB dot 2 meter per second plus y2 dot, y2 dot plus y2 dot, 2 y2 dot minus y1 dot, minus y1 dot, we obtain the value here minus 1. So minus of minus 1 becomes plus 1 is equal to L2 dot, L2 dot, we obtain it as 0 here. Now I told you y2 dot is actually the velocity here. So this would become 2 plus 2, y2 dot is minus v plus 1 equal to 0. Now if you solve this, you will get v equals 3 by 2, v equals 3 by 2, or which is equal to 1.5 meter per second. So this corresponding mass m will rise with a velocity of 1.5 meter per second in the upward direction. So this is how you solve the problem. Now with this we come to the end of this lecture. In this lecture we had discussed the kinematics of a system of particles where the motion itself is constrained. But in the next lecture, which is also kinematics of system of particles, we shall be dealing with a system in which there is a relative motion between the particles. We shall be concentrating on using multiple reference frame for the solution of the relative motion. Thank you all.